Today we're going to talk about one of my most favorite topics to talk about, and that is teaching your child self-care skills. My name is Nancy Marchese. I'm a board-certified doctoral level behavior analyst and a clinical psychologist. My goal is to help 2 million children with autism and their families by transforming their lives, and I can't wait to help you too. Specifically today we're going to talk about dressing. This is a really important topic to talk about because what I see often is that as a parent we want to really help our child, rightly so, get through the day, get them dressed, get them going, but ultimately if we help them too much they never learn how to do things on their own. They never learn how to do these things independently. Why is that important? That is important because as kids get older, if they can't dress themselves independently, they lead themselves at risk for vulnerabilities if we rely on other people to help us get dressed, for example. Also, even more important is that without being able to do these things on our own, we don't have a sense of independence and dignity to be able to get through some important daily activities throughout our everyday lives. As a parent, there are some really simple strategies that you can use to help your child learn how to get dressed for themselves. So first of all, where do we start? Well, to get started, you have to understand where your child is at in terms of their self-care skills. You want that baseline, that starting point. So you want to think about where your child's strengths are in this area, but also where their areas of need are. Another way you can look at this is by using an assessment. We've got a lot of different assessments in ABA that can help with this. For example, there's one called the Essential for Living, and if you have a board-certified behavior analyst, they can help you determine exactly where your child is at in terms of their strengths and needs in any given self-care area. The other thing that's really important that I want you to think about is what is a priority for your family? Where are the priority needs, let's say, when it comes to getting dressed? Is it helping your child put their jacket on? Or is it getting their socks and their pants on and their shirt on in the morning? You want to think about all the different areas that are super important to you and your family and your child and prioritize those ones to start with. So now you're ready to start thinking about how you're going to teach it. You've got your starting point. Now, how are you going to teach this key skill? For example, dressing. There are a number of different strategies that you can use to help your child learn how to get dressed on their own. One of them is called chaining. Chaining involves helping teach children complex skills, especially that involve multiple steps. Dressing is a perfect example of this. So when your child has to take their jacket off the hook, put their first sleeve on the first arm, pull that jacket over, put the other sleeve in, get that zipper ready, and then zip up is an example of a skill that may involve multiple steps, and you can help them learn those steps through chaining. There are two ways that you can think about helping your child if you decide to use this strategy. One is that you help them with all the steps from the beginning almost to the end, except for that very last step. So you might help them take the jacket off the hook, you put the first sleeve in, you pull it over, you put the other sleeve in, you get that zipper ready, but you don't do it up for them. That last step is just your child just has to zip up their zipper and then they're done. That's one option. Another option is you can have them do the very first step and then you help them with the rest of the steps. So for example, they have to get that jacket off the hook and then you help them put the sleeves in, put it over, put the other sleeve in, get that zipper ready and zip up. So you can go forward or backward. Another strategy you can use is to help them physically get through each of the steps. So you might start with sort of hand over hand to help them take the jacket off the hook. You might have to help them hand over hand get that first sleeve in, and so on and so forth. So we call that prompts, or another way to look at that is physical assistance. Another option for another strategy is to help offer some sort of model. So you can either show them live how to do it and then they do it, or you might have a video model. Let's say you have a sibling who knows how to put their jacket on. You might have videotape them putting on their jacket and then you show it to your child. Or you might have a visual model that has the pictures of each step that's involved and you go through it with them prior to them trying to put on their jacket on their own. So you've got a bunch of different strategies and you can mix and match the strategies too. So you might do some chaining, but first show them the video model. You might need to offer them some physical assistance throughout. The key, no matter which strategy you decide to use, is that you want to ultimately lessen and lessen the assistance so that they themselves ultimately can do it themselves independently. We don't want to offer them any support by the end. So at the beginning, you need to help them to be successful. You keep repeating because repetition is the key to mastery. And ultimately, as you're repeating and as they start to be able to do it independently, you want to lessen and lessen and lessen that assistance. Finally, super important is to think about some sort of payoff, some party that your child gets when they do these steps, because this is going to be a little bit of work for them. They're going to be learning throughout, and we want to keep them motivated and excited to keep doing this over and over again. So what can we use in terms of that party, or what we like to call in ABA reinforcement? And so we want to think about things that your child is super motivated by. Ideally, if there are things that happen naturally in the course of teaching the skill, then you want to offer those things. So, for example, if your child is excited to go outside, before they go outside, you're going to practice that putting on your jacket, and then you're going to open the door and let's go outside and have a lot of fun. You want to make sure that that payoff, that big party, or what we like to call an ABA reinforcement, is delivered immediately. Right after they perform the skill, they get to go outside and have fun. So ideally, if it's something natural that you can embed into the teaching scenario, that's awesome. If your kid is not that excited about, let's say, going outside in a given moment, it's okay to offer other things, other activities, whether it be, let's say, an iPad if they're interested in a certain app, or maybe a special toy, or maybe a special treat, whatever works for them. It's really important that they're motivated to practice that skill and there's some type of excitement when it's all done. So to put it all together, you want to think about where to start, what strategies to use. You want to lessen those strategies as you continue to practice, and ultimately there should be some sort of party, some type of excitement, some type of reinforcer when your child practices that skill until they master it. What this leads to in the end is incredible independence and dignity for your child as they grow up. There's only so much we could cover in the short amount of time we had today. If you found value in what we talked about, go to breakthroughautism.ca, join our newsletter. And also, follow me on my socials.